So here we are on universalmindradio.com, coming on here with the Frank Jordan and his Earth Mind Healers, and they're about to take it away. Go ahead, Frank.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to the universalmindradio.com in association with Whole Spirit Radio, and we have a system that reaches completely around the world now. Anywhere there's computers, we can be contacted. And the Earth Mind Healer Group, the former Earth Mind Think Tank Group, is evolving to the point to where we're becoming very effective in altering weather patterns and social patterns and in intercommunicating and transmitting wonderful metaphysical spiritual information. And on our healing program, which is Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we always have an hour of educational discussion of some kind. Pardon me. And then we do an hour of healing of any individual around the world that has a problem. They can bring it into the Skype room, chat room, or call it in, and Gary can give you that information. And we're just an open field of discussion, energy exchange, information exchange. And an interesting thing has been happening the last 2.5 years. We're actually getting communication from the Galactic Center through a flow of energy frequencies that come in. Although these are not audible, our understanding is that our DNA responds to these audible frequencies. In other words, it's been proven by the Russians that any communication within a person's system allows a response from the DNA structure of our body. In other words, our body listens to us. It doesn't matter what the language is, because it isn't the words themselves that are critical. It's the intent that is expressed in word and lineage. That's why affirmations work, and it's why I learned years ago that the best affirmation you can make in communication with yourself, trying to change something in yourself or your outer reality, is a very short, explicit, exact expression of what your intent is. In other words, the subconscious mind and the DNA only responds to two things: desire, or your intent, and will, or what do you want to do. And that's the subject and verb. So keep your subject and verb very explicit and exactive, and your body responds to you. And so in looking at what we have for today, the earthquakes are heating back up again through something to do with the solar cycles, I would assume. The weather patterns are becoming more chaotic as the fall approaches. We have severe drought locked into Southern California that we'll work on. And does anyone have any other suggestions of things we might look at? If not, there is some good news we can talk about, that Iraq has finally has their ministers seated. They have a government organized. They are voting on their budget, I believe, today. And when that passes and some other things are completed, they will launch into the international commerce. And in doing so, it's going to strengthen the financial structures around the world. And in addition to that, the world reset is occurring in the financial structure. We don't have Mike on today, but if he comes on later, he can comment on that if he will. And things are looking excellent in the world right now. The opportunities are here, and the unified group mind consciousness that we express certainly has contributed to this. And we're very active participants in being the co-creators of our reality instead of being suggestive or subjective to it. So let's take a moment now just to internalize this self-realization that the world is changing very rapidly. The financial structure is shifting into dominion. And as that changes, the domination force that relies on money and control of power around the world is weakening. Religion around the world is in chaos. They're losing the strong directive negative controllers, and more positive influence are rising, which is exactly what happens when we work in Earth Mind. We change the patterns and forms and the history as it's written into the Akashic records, because that's what supplies the instinctive consciousness that prompts people to make choices. And anytime they're thinking through their high selves, they'll be making the right choice in dominion, which supports and expresses love and cooperation, unity, one consciousness in everyone. And if they're still in the old third dimensional reality of domination and control and survival, if that is what's patterned under their countries or their homes or whatever their reality is, some new promptings are coming in now from the galaxy. Actually, we've just entered the photon belt, which will be with us for 1,000 years, and this 1,000-year cycle is where all consciousness and intelligence is raised up to a higher frequency. And everyone is feeling this now. You feel it as a disturbance in your daily routine. You lose focus. It's hard to keep attention on things because our DNA is being stimulated. More DNA is being stimulated to form and to become reactive in these higher frequency ranges. We're being prompted to higher thinking and to making the right choice and contributing our desire and will and intent in the group mind consciousness of everyone on the world. And this is also being prompted through our soul centers, our unified soul center in this particular human species that's on Earth at this time. And there have been 5 primary cycles prior to this, some going back as many as hundreds of millions of years of Earth interaction. And then, as it is in all things, those civilizations pass, those humanoid civilizations, and there's a period of non-occupation, and then another group who arrives on Earth who have a group mind intent of what they want to experience on Earth. And this is it happens as not only in the physical form, but in our souls, our group souls. So this is why it's so important for us to understand how things work and become a co-opting creator of our world reality. And we're all simply experiencing a moment now of great expectation that the changes are happening. The financial shift is going to occur. Our hopes and dreams can begin to come into reality, and maintaining a positive attitude, looking forward, looking ahead is really what attracts to us by the law of attraction, what it is we want to create. Rich, over in Hawaii, could you comment and add to this a little bit? We'd appreciate your input.
Yes. Creating a new reality.
Well, what our potential is as humans here on Earth.
Well, the potential is to get into this 4th and 5th dimension. But what I'm doing is clearing this Maui island of souls, and neutralizing all the domination energies of religion and switching it around to unconditional love. So we're in the process of, excuse me, in the process of a lot of work here, but this group we have is really vital to doing it. So what I do is I tap into this group consciousness that we've created, and that's part of the audience too. So the audience should feel like they're a participant, because they really are, and use this energy. So thank you, Frank, for spearheading this whole event.
Well, thank you. And Teresa, you always have wonderful words of wisdom. Our Canadian contact, can you give us an expression of what you see forthcoming and how it should keep our intent focused to create a reality and the new world order as we move into the fourth dimension?
I see the new world reality as with eyes and that can see an awakeness. People are becoming more and more awake, and they are seeing things that have been like wrong choices that have been made, that they realize that a right choice can be made, and like, for example, no more cruelty anywhere. There is no room for it, because that vibration doesn't exist for that. So I see I admire what Rich is doing, and I admire this group and the people who participate, listening in. There is I know there's a wonderful group out there that listens along with us, and they are as deeply committed to what we do. And that just ripples out everywhere. And I see the people that I'm with, that this is affecting them. Even if they don't listen in, I know that there is an effect there, because their thinking is clearer and more focused in a really beneficial way for the outcome of the earth. And I think people are awakening to the words of the ancients, and that is, it's not, I'm just renting this space, so to speak. It's the future that we're building toward. It's the children that we need to care for in the future by what we do today. Even something, I know that sounds a little bit corny, but even recycling a pop can is huge, because the ratio of landfill is between, like, if you have 1 pound of aluminum from a pop can that doesn't go into the landfill, you have between 50 and 200 pounds that don't go into the landfill. So that tiny little bit is rippling out to children, and the children are awake, and they're telling adults to pay attention. And I'm so excited about our future. It's just, I'm just bubbling inside, and I can just see the team inside of me just cheering as to the beauty that is coming our way. And the animals, the children, and populations that are oppressed, I can see them all feeling relaxed and knowing there is a beautiful future. Thank you.
Thank you. Yvonne Murphy, you're our ambassador from New Zealand, and you've been in contact to the civilizations over there for some time. Where do you see the world progressing, and how can we help it?
Good morning, Frank. Good to connect. It's 5:15 here in the morning in Wellington, New Zealand. So I'm just waking up and feeling very grateful to join with you. I don't know that I have any great words of wisdom at the moment. I've just had my coffee. I think I'll just listen, but it's great to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you. We're just making contact and helping the world to realize how dispersed we are as a group and all of our various contacts. Catherine in Oregon, where do you see the world moving?
I see it dancing towards delight and happiness and joy, that spirit, meaning each and every one of us is spirit, is understanding that we need nothing but love, joy, forgiveness, and gratitude to go forward for joy, love, forgiveness, and gratitude. It's becoming a part of who we are and what we are. And it is a delight. And it thrills me to be able to hear Yvonne speak no matter what she says, because she is living our tomorrow today.
Wonderful. All right. We can have a couple more before we need to go into our program, but I see Mike is with us now. Mike, if you can speak, I see we're in.
I can speak a little bit. I'm okay. Things actually, the major things are improving, but along the way I have all sorts of challenges, that make things difficult. So once we get done with all our meditation this morning, which should help me tremendously, I'm hoping maybe I can get some energy sent to me. I have an issue with kind of water retention and swelling in my legs and lower extremities that I need to get rid of. But I'm okay and I'm improving, and I know it's all for a reason, on the lines of Kate of Gaia, Frank, where everybody one by one, the little light, like little kernels of popcorn, maybe poof, poof, poof. Everybody's one at a time. They're waking up to the fact that, oh, this is silly. We don't have to do this. So I'm okay. I'll leave it at that.
Wonderful. I see we're in void of course all day today. And so that's that wonderful open, expansive feeling. It can, and the few positive influences we have are very positive. They're all conjuncts and triunes, one square. But other than that, it's a beautiful, optimistic day. And also, Mike, the information coming to us on the global reset is very positive, and it looks like the RV could happen anytime. Is that the way you see it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there's definitely an awareness of yes, there's an awareness. It was pretty funny this morning. Now that I think of it, you asked that question. This popped up in my head on the network morning news show. Good Morning America, which is all hot, lovey-dovey, bouncy. Look at the red ball, kids. But the story they choose to run this morning, which is humorous about is it's supposed to make us think that Obama's just like us. But the story is that Obama goes out to his fancy date night with his wife, and his credit card bounces. That's about it, isn't it?
Yep.
Isn't it, Bear?
Well, the whole United States and the whole world, and that's somebody. Well, all right. We'll have the others of the group on at a later time, possibly tomorrow, to give your impressions. But let's go now. Let's drop into our meditation and work on our world reset. One thing that we do have is the possibility of a huge sun spot coming over the horizon that has potential. If it erupts at the wrong time, it would be tremendously deadly to us. So we will work on strengthening our golden grid using energy from the ring of fire and see if we can bypass that event. So let's take awareness up in our forehead now. In this methodology we've created for accessing the subconscious mind, and through the subconscious, the subtle energy field that holds everything in form, as well as the 0 point of the heart, which is our creative God Force center. And through that we can communicate with Earth Mind and everything of the past. What we do with our high selves, it has to do with everything in this moment of now and our choices and into the future. Everything that has to do with our low self programming and promptings has to do with the past and the third dimensional reality and holding things in the old form. So we always act to be in the high level of consciousness above the heart center, where our indwelling soul participates in co-creating our world reality and literally the galactic reality. So take your awareness up into your forehead now and just begin to move right straight back, realizing that you're moving out of the mental emotional field of the mind, and where your point of attention is where you are actively creating your reality. Now, or rather bringing the awareness to your desktop of your reality. Now take a step back further and you're directly in the soul center now. And just take a moment to get reacquainted with our indwelling soul, which remains, we think, very quietly within us, but actually it is prompting high self choices constantly to us in every moment and opportunity of choice, to make the right choice or wrong choice, high self or low self choices. It prompts us and reminds us that what we make with positive choices, right choices, is ongoing creative, co-creative, and fits right into the evolutionary flow of consciousness. So step back now into the psychic center in the middle of the head. The psychic center is where we communicate with all others on the planet, simply by putting our point of intention on anyone or anything or any form or reality, past, present, or future. Our resonance is through the chakra system, the subconscious mind, comes directly into as resonance into our desktop, where we can consciously work while we're in that step back, attuned situation to make our choices, observe our reality, and to become co-creators. So it's good to practice this. This is actually what happens when we express intent and direct creative activity into the world consciousness. Mostly, even though we're creating our intent with our individualized frontal lobes, it's back in the center of the soul center and the psychic center is where we resonate our intent to the world, and that's why we can participate in group mind consciousness creativity. Now take a step on back deeper, and you feel yourself expand. That deeper expanded feeling means you stepped out of the frontal lobes and out of the mental creativity of the individualized will and the psychic center, back into the expanded field of the subconscious mind, the chakra system, and through that we can access oversoul and undersoul, the polarity principles that holds the form of everything in reality. And then we can take our attention down to the 0 point in the heart and do that now. And this is where this God Force creator that we are in cooperation with in manifesting our reality with our intent and will. This is where we take our intent literally through the subconscious mind to manifest the standing waves of form between the past into the present and into the future. And in the present, in the 0 point, in this moment of now, is where, through choices, we alter our future and everything in reality. And this is the PowerPoint. This is where what people are actually doing when they pray and are praying outside of themselves to an exterior source of God force consciousness. They're giving away their personal power. They're not in self-realization that power is within them, even as Jesus tried to point it out. The power of God force consciousness is within, and this is where we operate. Now, the other field we work in is the subtle energy field. That's the field that supports everything. And when we drop into that field with our intent, we realize there's a constant resonance between our conscious interactive activity on the front side here that resonates constantly to the subtle energy field that helps to hold the form. And this is held, we communicate with it through our oversoul and through the 0 point in the heart. But the subtle field is the one that really holds the form of everything we do and is responsible for our expression in life. So let's take our awareness down deeper now. Just let yourself drop down your spine to the root chakra and down into low self. And below the root chakra, going into earth mind, where we have open access to the Akashic records. And everything that happens on earth is stored in the crystalline consciousness, the computer chip of the crust of the earth. And we even have genetic earth mind memory of everything that's been experienced by all life on earth. But also in the Devic field, we have memory of everything that the God force has created in the past. And in this we're relating to weather patterns and earth movements and everything of a physical activity. In attunement with that comes a realization of the cycles and the periodic movement and shifts as the earth rotates on its axis and goes through its tilting as it moves around the sun on the annual cycles that creates our seasons. And the realization is that we're moving into our fall season now in the northern hemisphere, which would be the spring season in the southern hemisphere. And because of a lot of external pressures and energies, our weather and earth movement patterns are disturbed right now. And have been for several years. And the pole shift is also occurring, which is throwing everything out of balance. So with our intent today, we're going to go into the ring of fire and gather all the energy we possibly can, not only to strengthen our golden grid around the earth, but to implant in earth mind deeper levels of desire and will with the Devic forces of consciousness as to how it would be most desirable for all living things for nature to co-opt with us. So take your awareness now to Southern California and to the earthquake grid in that region. This is our point of beginning where we always feel and come into attunement with earth mind. And you do that simply by dropping your awareness deep into the earth along the primary fault line that runs from the Gulf of down through, I'm losing it, the San Andreas Fault that runs the full length of California along the coast. We tune into that fault and feel those energies and pressures building up. And you feel that up through the base of your spine, and it becomes a pressure, an intense pressure in the base of your brain. It is our primitive brain warning us when an earthquake is about to release. This is the center we go to tune into whatever region we have our point of attention on. And we can feel the intensity building up of earthquakes. Now when we feel that intensity, because we're in direct attunement with the Devic force of consciousness of the subtle energy field, we can lift those building pressures, lift those right up our spines, out through the crown chakra, through the oversoul, up into the ionosphere, because it's just energy potential building up. Release that energy, so it's the earthquake does occur, it will occur, but it'll be much milder and won't be destructive. Carry those energies upward now into the golden grid and disperse them around the world as a protective shield. And we want to reach our awareness out now. We're becoming strong enough that we don't need to really pay too much attention to focalized points. We can simply incorporate our awareness completely around the ring of fire by expanding our awareness through the ring of fire around the Pacific Ocean. Feel that tremendous energy build up and lift that upward now. That's interesting. As I'm saying this, I'm seeing this translation in the form of light. Energy, all energy is simply frequencies of light. So these stress energies have a deep light. By deep, I can only say, I mean frequency levels, low, harmonious frequency levels that we lift into the atmosphere, distributed around the world. And we just hold it as long as we can feel the flow. And it's interesting, I feel the frequencies of it actually coming up through the sinuses into the soul center. And this is telling me, this is reminding me through the indwelling soul center and genetic memory of our capacity to do this in other lifetimes in the past. Certain individuals evolved this ability to control earth movements. And this is a very high level of evolution in our so-called human reality. We just allow the flow to continue. And we can visualize and see and feel the golden grid expanding, strengthening, becoming stronger in anticipation of the solar flares to come. In the last week, after kind of a lull in the earthquake energy, they're building back up again. So we pull that excess energy off that builds up. The earthquakes can still occur because they are a necessary part of our environment, but they're at a lower frequency level. And now we move our awareness around the belt of fire around the earth, that runs through the Mediterranean and on through Japan and the Himalayas, the belt of fire around the earth. Extend yourself laterally around the earth. Lift those energies upward. And this is a particularly unique feeling today because of the void of course. We're not feeling any really negative influences from the planets. We're feeling simply positive, wonderful, beneficial energy. And we're feeling it more intensely because of the void of course, the void of the moon influences at this time. That's letting us to really intimately tune in to Earth mind and with the Devic forces. And I'm feeling a force of love. This love is the Devic consciousness, which has an extension of the God force consciousness expressing in the physical plane. What I'm feeling is the love of the God force center, the creator, that holds all earth and form through the 0 points. Everything and absolutely every organism and molecule on earth has a 0 point. And I'm feeling that unified field of love and the desire to express and experience life. So we're right in the heart of co-creative desire and will with the God force, and it feels wonderful. Let that feeling just permeate your DNA, stimulating the DNA to reassemble so we have the fullest capacity as God force beings to act and interact with all of our abilities and to bring back into form our highest and greatest potential of being co-creators and to aid the earth in its evolutionary process. Now feel the joy. Joy is our body signal of when we're doing it right, because that is the God force center expressing pleasure at our choices. Send a wave of joy around the world, along with a wave of unconditional love. Love being the creative force that holds all things in form. And feel the intensity gathering and growing as we add the fuel, the energy of the golden grid to our intent. And we reach our awareness out now from the golden grid, from the 0 point of Earth to the 0 point of the Sun. Come into resonance through our own 0 points with the Sun and our God force intent now. In the standing wave resonance between this Earth and all the planets and the Sun, we become co-creators with the Sun and its activities, communicating with the Devic force of consciousness that constantly releases the energies of life to us as light. We will, this massive sunspot that's building, to release its energy away from the Earth. because it's very directional when these sunspots explode. So you want it to occur at a time when it does not directly affect the Earth or any other planet. The Earth has been quiet for a long time, and it's built up this energy. It needs to release. This is just like the energy, the hot spots on Earth that build up, like the Yellowstone and other great cauldrons that release energy periodically. They're part of the natural cycle, but that energy can be released gradually. And that's what we will the sun to do. We also extend from the unified field of Earth and the sun and the planets in our planetary system. We extend our attention to the dark sun that Nibiru rotates around, that's coming back into our influence. And we send a wave of energy. We use this excess, the energy from the sunspot, we direct that to the dark sun now and nudge it into a wider orbit so that as it passes Earth, Nibiru does not pass through the inner planets, does not come close to Earth, and does not cause destruction. And of the 7 planets around the dark sun, all of these have the potential of creating havoc on Earth. So we push that entire complex away, we repel it to a wider orbit. And so it is. Now in its 3,600-year cycle, it can complete its mission without destruction to Earth. Now we close to that and bring awareness back into Earth mind and Earth consciousness. Take our point of attention to the poles and the pole shift that is underway at the present time. And we just will that to be a slow, natural shift in the electromagnetic fields on Earth and rotating back into a normal state. In the future, the pole reversal does not have to happen at any time that will affect us in the near future or any time that in the future that our civilization is present on this planet. And we project that into the future. Bring awareness back now to the 0 point of Earth. And this is directly working in the consciousness of the Devic force, the physical force that holds everything in form and reality. Our desire and our intent is to normalize the weather patterns, the cycles, and to throw off, release the stress that humanity has caused on Earth that was bringing the disrupted energy activities on the surface. We harmonize the Devic force with the desire of our group mind consciousness that'll help to stabilize the consciousness of every living being on Earth, every human that has effect on Earth mind and the functions of the normal cycles of Earth, normal being the most beneficial to all living things on Earth. We see the disruptions like the radioactivity from Japan being contained and directed, that energy released into the golden grid, transmuted into beneficial energy. We see the energy of the volcanoes being released in a continuous stream, reinforcing our golden grid. We see the golden grid repelling in the future any sunburst, distributing those electromagnetic gamma rays or whatever comes as chaotic light. We see that dispersing around the Earth through the ionosphere and our golden grid and out the other side in the solar winds. And so it is. Now bring our awareness back into the human consciousness and the earth mind, the akashic forms of memory that have supply the instinctive consciousness of all humans. We feel a rising frequency, a lifting of the frequency levels there as the photon belt pours its energy into us. So in Earth Mind, we feel the shift from domination into dominion. Dominion being that state of consciousness where we shift from simply survival, selfishness into a higher awareness of the upper chakras, resonating with the unified soul of all humans to make right choice, and no matter what the civilization, the religion, the language, the education, financial system, we prompt them to make right choice now. Right choice to benefit everyone in dominion as we move into the fourth dimension of time and space, which is simply a transition zone between the third dimension of survival into the fifth dimension of full expression of our God force abilities on Earth. And we take the responsibility of being the co-creators on Earth. We take responsibility for all the wrong choices that have created disturbances, disharmony, any kind of unnatural event on Earth, and such as the radiation. We take responsibility for that, and as co-creators we heal, resonate into the future, the right and correct action to heal all the misuse and overuse of the Earth resources and of our intrusion into the natural cycles of other life forms. We bring life force into all of these forms that we've disturbed, empowering their environment to nurture and sustain them. We correct our karma, our human karma. We correct that karma by right choice, extending back in time prior to the wrong choices, and balance the resonance with the future when we are in peace and harmony. And we carry this 0 point forward in all of Earth, mind, and human consciousness, and the human consciousness of every living thing, correcting the karma, releasing the karma of all human activities and choices of the past. And we reach into the future and bring into our reality the high planes of the fourth dimensional reality, when we have done our job that we're here to do in our future lifetimes, of bringing Earth back into the earthly paradise, that it was prior to man's involvement. We bring that earthly paradise back so we can experience and enjoy it to the fullest in the 5th, 6th, and 7th dimensions as we choose. More importantly, we resonate to the galactic flows that are assisting us, the higher consciousness of our ancestors. We direct to the realization that we are waking up, we are coming back into our own. We are responding to their influence and we greatly love and appreciate them. And we feel our hands heat up as their response, acknowledging our intent and assisting us through the direct subconscious and subtle energy field consciousness of every human on earth to bring them back into balance and harmony and dominion. And man shall have dominion on the earth and over all creatures that fly upon the earth or swim in the seas and all living things that grow on the plains. And dominion means responsibility for it, not being the dominators of it. And that is dominion. And so it is. Now we have a few minutes left. Come back up into your own individualized state of consciousness, but holding our unified field of expanded consciousness. Do any of the group have any comments you'd like to express? I feel in this void of course moment, I feel a wonderful union of our consciousness. It's just like with your eyes closed, everyone in the group and around the world is right here at our fingertips. Go ahead.
I was wondering if there's anything we can do about that at this point with the hurricane over in Bermuda there. Seems to be hitting them pretty hard there.
Well, our earlier intent where we veered that hurricane northward, and the ones that are following it, we've created a path where they will go north along the coast. Unfortunately, there's not too much we can do. That's already in form, and it'll have to dissipate itself. What we can do is extend the desire and will that no living thing be damaged beyond its point of recovery to the Bermudas. Now, as we continue this late summer cycles of hurricanes coming in onto the land masses, releasing and expressing energy, that's the energy of the sun stored in the oceans, as well as the energy of human consciousness. That's one way nature has of balancing energies, is through expressing that energy as violent storms or earthquakes or affecting the weather. One thing we can do for the drought in Southern California, we take our attention to the HARP energies, go directly to their source, and I'm feeling several sources focused on that area. We use the energy of the golden grid to transmute those energies into the opposite form of what they are expressing, using them to, rather than create high pressure area that excludes weather, that their actual effect will be to create low pressure fields that attract moisture in from the Pacific, and we visualize moisture sweeping in from the Pacific through the next year in normal natural cycles, and the HARP energy empowering that. And we direct our intent all to Earth Mind, to all the HARP energies that are extracting Earth energy and using electromagnetic energy of the Earth. We direct right choice and positive intent into the people who are operating those machines for whatever purpose, to mind control or weather control. We release the negative control element of their consciousness and send them unconditional love to break down their negative, evil intent. We send unconditional love. So those individuals, as individually and as a whole, will make the right choice. And they send that also to the political leaders, the military leaders, and we feel the shift of consciousness as Earth Mind comes back into the normal patterns wherever those HARP energies are established. Through the power of the Christ within us, we transmute the negative intent of the HARP energies into positive expression of potential of good life support on the earth. And we spread that around the world. And so it is. Gary, we come back to you to wrap it up now.
Okay. This is Wolf Spirit Radio, in conjunction with Universal Mind Radio, signing off after being with Frank here and his group. And we'll be back. Frank will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. for his Healings and Meditation show, where you can call in for healings or listen to the healings. And it's a 2-hour show, and there's meditations and all kinds of things will come up, because there's never a script. Everything's spontaneous. It just happens right there, so we don't make any predictions about exactly what's going to happen. It'll be something new and surprising.
And that's 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'd like to remind everyone that's listening to the healing portion of the show that these energies we express out through the airways, it's just like you're at our fingertips. Whoever we're healing with our direct intent, the resonance goes out to everyone listening. You can use those energies for yourselves or to heal others by redirecting the energy. And you feel the heat in your hands as I express this. That's the resonance of the galactic flow working in and through all of us in this new stage of humanity, evolution, and progress. And we love you all, and we say goodbye.
Okay, thank you, and we'll see you all tomorrow.